I mean, I had never written a script in the first person. I've never read one that was written that way. It's an unusual thing to do, but for me, it was the answer to my struggle to, as I was writing, to get into his head. And I was looking for a way to make it clear to the reader, to myself, to the project as a whole, that we were going to see everything from his point of view. And at some point, I decided with the format of how I was writing, I was a little way into the script and I wasn't feeling appropriately subjective. I wasn't feeling like I was really able to climb into his head. And so I started experimenting with writing in the first person. As you say, saying, I come in, I sit down at the table, I do this sort of thing. And as soon as I did that, I felt like I knew how the film was going to work. And I also felt that when I showed the script to people, they would instinctively feel how the film was going to work. And I showed it first to my brother, who I've written with a lot over the years. I didn't write with him on this, but I showed it to him and took his advice and everything. And the thing he said to me right away is that I finally found a way to make people read the stage directions. Because in a screenplay, you have stage directions, and then you have the dialogue. And if you read a lot of scripts, as people in Hollywood do, you wind up just reading the dialogue. So films tend to be told through dialogue. But my films have always relied on the visual. They've always relied on the stage directions. Things like the haircut of the character telling you where you are in time, and those sorts of things. So you have to read the stage directions quite carefully. And in a regular script, they tend not to grab you. They tend not to make you feel that you have to read that paragraph that sets up where the scene is and what's going on in the scene. But when you write it in the first person, you immediately feel that you have to read all those things because it's like reading thoughts or voiceover. And I knew that with this project, I wanted to be in his head, but I didn't want to use voiceover. And so writing the script in the first person, it gave me the feeling of voiceover so that the stage directions seemed like his thoughts. And in that way, every day on the set when we were making the film, we were consulting the script, it was a constant reminder that we're seeing this from his point of view. And as we choose where to put the camera, for example, what lenses to use and things like that, we're thinking about, okay, how would he see this scene, these characters? How would he interact with them? And so the color sequence is a film very much from his point of view. So the camera is very close to him, physically very close. And we're always sort of looking over his shoulder or coming to a room behind him and seeing what he's seeing, those kind of things. The black and white scenes are further away from him. The camera is physically further away from him, often looking at him from the point of view of Louis Strauss, Robert Downey Jr.'s character, that kind of thing. So in that way, we try to create a contrast to the two storylines.